Hey guys.
Hey.
Susie and Travis here from the Wolf Hunters. We have a reaction video for you guys. We're excited about that. But first, before we talk about that, this link that's below me is in the description box. When you click it, you can choose what we react to. And it doesn't have to just be music, even though we love music. Mm-hmm. It could also be like a teaching video, like a documentary, and pranks videos. Pranks. Travis likes to prank. Do you?
No. I mean, I guess I would, but I don't like to go out of my way to try to do it, I guess. I like the idea of it, but I don't think I'm a prankster. Today's video is brought to you by Brian, bringing us New Horizons in Music, Appreciation by Peter Schickele.
Schickele. Brian says this. Hi, Travis and Susie.
Hi.
Last month, the great classical music parodist Peter Schickele passed away at age 88. He was best known for his discoveries of music by the fictional composer P.D.Q. Bach. He also wrote a lot of outstanding serious music. However, my favorite shtick of his was him presenting a Beethoven symphony as a radio sportscast. The result is interesting. I think you'll know what I'm saying once you hear it for yourselves. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what he said. It wasn't just me. I didn't make that up. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Oh, do you see that dog in the bottom right corner?
Aw.
Reminds me of an old pup of mine.
That dog that wants to attack that deer, that really does remind you of the old dog who used to also have fun prancing after a deer.
Yeah. Looks similar and obviously acts similar.
That's the play stance.
Okay, anyway. Just reminiscing.
Are you sad?
Now you know a little bit more into my life.
And now it's time for New Horizons in Music Appreciation.
See the people fencing?
Different approaches to the problem of popularizing the 19th century classics. Now, unlike the Baroque masterworks, 19th century pieces such as the Beethoven symphonies are usually so long and melodramatic that the average listener has to be informed through the use of program notes as to what's going on in order to prevent him from falling into a confused slumber. The only trouble is that they always turn the lights down in concert halls, so you can't read the notes while the piece is being played.
Why is eating an apple so recognizable?
So, here is a new solution to a perennial problem.
I love him. Who else would do that?
Good evening, music fans. Here we are at Philharmonic Hall in New York Mills, Minnesota. It's a beautiful night for a concert. There's not a cloud in the ceiling.
Can I also say that was definitely coffee he sipped too?
Was it, or was it
I
tea?
just know that sound. If I heard that sound anywhere, I would just know it.
You sure it wasn't tea?
He slurped it.
A spot of tea?
Slurped
with
coffee.
His pinky out?
Definitely wasn't tea. Definitely wasn't it.
Did you know that
it had a thickness?
Did you know that you're never supposed to separate the tea from its teacup from its saucer?
No.
Yeah, you're supposed to pick them both up. You're supposed to pick them both up. And then put them both down. Oh. They're married.
What's the meaning behind... Well, I guess we're getting on a tangent.
Sorry.
And there's quite a crowd out here. About how many do you think there are, Bob?
Oh, I don't know, Pete.
Well, neither do I, but it's quite a crowd. And I think they're looking forward to hearing the New York Mills Philharmonic playing against the Danish conductor Heilige Dankgesang. And here he comes now, ascending the podium. And the players are all lined up and ready to begin the first inning of Beethoven's Symphony No. 5 in C minor. And they're off with a 4-note theme. This is very exciting. The beginning of a symphony is always very exciting, folks. I don't know whether it's slow or fast yet because it keeps stopping. It doesn't seem to be able to get off the ground yet. And it looks like, yes, it looks like we're coming up to a cadence here, folks. The violins didn't cut off there. A little trouble with the violins. They weren't watching. And there's that four-note theme again, folks. And another stop. Just can't seem to get this piece off the ground. Now it seems to be rolling a little bit. Seems to be building up. Tell me, Bob, do you think you'd call that four-note idea a theme or a motif?
Well, Pete, the technical term would be motif, which he uses to build a theme.
I see. Thanks for setting me straight about that, Bob. Well, we're heading into the second theme section here, and we can expect a little modulation down there. Wow, did you hear that, Bob? Somebody down there in the horn section really flubbed that note. That was one of the worst fumbles I think I've ever witnessed in all my days.
I think he gets an award for greatest reactor of all times.
I think it was number 1, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes, it was, Pete. That was Bobby Corno in the first chair, and that's the third major flub he's made this season, giving him a solo average for the season of approximately .24755, which is pretty darn low for a first chair man.
You think there's some chance he might be sold to another orchestra?
Well, it's hard to say, Pete. Corno's very good in the long solos, things like the Rachmaninoff Concerto. So I think if he pulls himself together a bit, they'll probably keep him around, although I suppose he might...
Well, I think it's development time down there now, Bob. Let's see what's going to happen. The horns are starting it off. They seem to be in pretty good shape now, and I get the feeling that we're probably going to be hearing a lot of that four-note motif, don't you, Bob?
Yes, I do, Pete.
So do I, Bob. Well, they obviously are stuck with that four-note motif, and are going to be fooling around with it for quite a while. You notice it's pretty hot in here, Bob?
Yes, I do, Pete.
Yeah, I think the air conditioning has gone off, which is one of the things... Wait a minute, there's something going on down there on the stage, folks. There's something happening down there. It's really building up tension. The crowd is getting very excited. The brasses have come in, and the timpani and everybody, and it's extremely exciting. I think we're building up to a fugue. No, the basses are not picking up the theme, folks. It is not a fugue. The violins tried to make it one, but the basses are not following up. No, instead of a fugue, folks.
Oh my gosh, this is such a good idea. I mean, to be quite
sports announcer for this
sports announcement for music. I mean, I think that could be a really cool thing. I'll say that in our experience, we have gotten flack for talking over music sometimes, and then also flack for pausing.
Yeah.
And so you can't do anything right? This is the way the internet works. But I think that this is a thing that could be awesome if you're good at it. It's really, really, really something.
Yeah.
He seems to be taking the theme and breaking it up into little pieces. Just 2 notes left of that theme now being thrown around from player to player.
You have to really
And it's getting softer and softer down there, folks. I think they're losing steam. They seem to be running out of steam. And it's just getting a little bit lethargic down there, if you want to know the truth. It's gotten down to 1 note now, and things are... Wait a minute! The brasses have come in and tried to pep things up. A welcome relief, but I'm afraid to no avail. Things are still pretty soporific. Wait a minute! They come again. They're really determined. It sounds very familiar, and I think we've reached the recap, Bob, don't you?
There's no doubt about it, Pete. Your average Beethoven symphony usually has a recap right after the second quarter, and this one is falling right into line.
Well, let's see if those violins can cut off with the rest of the orchestra and the cadence is coming up. Wait a minute. This time it's the oboe holding the note too long. Wait, he's playing a cadenza. He must be out of his mind. He thinks it's an oboe concerto. The conductor's standing down there. He doesn't know what to do. Have you ever heard anything like that, Bob?
I certainly haven't, Pete. I think it was a disgraceful display of lack of teamsmanship. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if Highwood's name wasn't on the roster next season, although I must say that the fans really seem to go for these outbursts of temperament.
Well, I always say, Bob, professional music teams wouldn't exist without the spectators. Anyway, we're into the home stretch here with the second theme coming up, and we should be in C minor right up to the double bar. Wait a minute. That's really something, Bob. The piece's build is being in C minor, and yet it looks like it's going to end in C major.
It's really something, Pete.
Well, I think it's something that the Composers Commission ought to look into, and I suspect that they will as soon as this gets out. But it looks like it's going to be an ending anyway. Things are building up a little there.
All right, so question. I am new to classical music. I have never been to like a theater to see an orchestra like this or anything like that. Is the general population just listening and enjoy it and actually would not catch any errors. Like me, like if I attended one, like I wouldn't know whether it's right or wrong or if something is off or not, you know. Oftentimes, when I talk to people that play music, I go, just keep pushing through. Even if you make an error, don't make a face that makes it look like you made an error, because most people won't catch the error in the first place. Or is the crowd pretty much like
all connoisseurs?
Yeah, and they would know.
I think there's a mixture.
So
I think there's a mixture, just like there is with any.
Brian, you can let me know,
audience.
and you guys can also.
Yeah,
let
I'm
me
curious
know.
of that as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've always assumed that there would be a mixture in there of same thing as like a regular concert, that there's people who really know the music, there's people who are there just to have a good time, and then there's probably people there just supporting the people who are performing.
Well,
let us know.
Woodwinds have really gotten a hold of things. They're really beginning to roll, and now he's adding all the woodwinds there. He's thrown in all his brass and the timpani, and it's tutti all the way, folks. He's got a great piece on his hands here, and he looks like he's really coming into the home stretch. Well, I guess that about wraps it up, hey, Bob?
Yeah, Pete, it's been a good piece.
I think he can really have something to be proud of himself here. Wait a minute! The brasses are taking the theme! They're not letting it stop! They're taking the theme and running ahead! Bob, this piece is definitely going to go into overtime. I can see that. The crowd is going wild. They're standing up on their feet. They're jumping. They're stomping. They're yelling. And let me tell you that down on that stage, the players are doing a bit of running around themselves. Nobody knows where the theme is. The audience, nor the players, nobody knows where that theme is. Everybody is running around, and believe me, it's very exciting. This is the kind of thing that only happens once in 10 years, folks. They've got a new theme going on down there. I can't believe it. Bob, do you know where this new theme comes from?
Well, Pete, it probably comes from, no, I don't, Pete.
Well, they're tossing it around now. The woodwinds have it, and then the strings have it. Nobody seems to be able to keep his hands on that theme. It's getting tossed around from player to player, from section to section. And believe me, folks, the audience is just as confused as the players is about who is going to have that theme finally. Wait a minute, the strings have got a hold of it. The strings have got a hold of that theme, and they are not going to let go. What's this? I can't believe my ears! It sounds as if it's another recap! It sounds as if he's going right back to the beginning! If this is true, it's the first time it's happened in 10 years of concert casting. Wait a minute. Those sound like final chords, though. This may be... That may be it, folks. I'm looking down at the referee. Yes, that is it. That is the end of the piece. The players are taking off their helmets, and the conductor has turned around and is acknowledging the cheers of the crowd. Well, it was quite a symphony, wasn't it, Bob?
It was quite a symphony, Pete, and I think the fans feel that they got their money's worth.
So do I, Bob. And I don't think there's any doubt about who won this
I like
contest
how they
either.
keep saying
As a
different
matter of fact, I
names.
wouldn't be surprised if the critics slap a stiff penalty on some of the players, particularly Bobby Corno.
Neither would I, Pete, and of course this was a very important victory for Heilige Dankazong, since it puts him right up there at the top of the Conductors League.
That's right, Bob. That means that he'll be up against the Fargo Moorhead Symphony in the World 12-Tone Series next month.
See them
And let's see, they not only lead the
talking.
Orchestral League, but I think they're unbeaten this season, aren't they, Bob?
You said it, Pete, and if
That's right,
Dankazong can win
Travis.
4 concerts off them, he'll be the first conductor to earn the pennant since Toscanini.
Well, that's quite a challenge, Bob. Now I think I'd better be heading down to the locker rooms to have a chat with Dankazong himself.
Well, Pete, I think he was supposed to be doing a baton commercial after the concert, but why didn't you give it a try?
I'll do that, Bob. So for now, this is Pete Schickele
And Bob Dennis.
signing off for the wonderful wide world of notes.
that was awesome.
That was so awesome.
That was cool.
I love that. So brilliant. And I really like that it kind of shines a light on how many emotions are in one symphony or one piece of classical music. I mean, there's so many different, emotions that you can go through in just one, which sets classical music up, I think, apart from a lot of other kinds of music that,
that's a good point.
there's, you can go from super high energy, exciting music to very somber music in literally seconds.
I imagine that's got to be why it's so often used for like movie soundtracks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just funny that he made that into like related it to a game where the emotions get exciting when you're winning, and then you can be disappointed in a second.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Thank you so much for that, Brian. Guys, if you want to request your own personal reaction video, you can find that link in the description box below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, stay tuned, stay positive.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.